Alright, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good pleasant Saturday morning to all my beloved SAIS Biology SPM candidates 2020. Alright. Okay, teacher hope everybody always in the in the very good condition. Okay, di mana saja kamu berada, of course lah you dekat rumah, right? Okay, so again, Alhamdulillah, ya Allah izinkan kita bertemu kembali for our session SPM Biology tuition session. Okay, so we can discuss whatever. Okay, this week teacher share you a set of question so that you get familiar with the how this question for your SPM, right? Okay, before we proceed, teacher would like to call upon Arzik, boleh baca doa? Okay, so we call upon Arzik to recite our doa before we continue our lesson. Dijemput Arzik?
Boleh dengar tak?
Boleh dengar Arzik, very clear. Very good.
Alright. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma afta'alana hikmataka wa sha'alana min khaza'ina rahmatika ya arhamar rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'd.
Amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you very much pelajar cemerlang Arzik. Okay. So pagi tadi physics, okay, now you're going to continue with biology, and as usual when teacher mention about biology, okay, you are learning about all process, all the process. So teacher dah already share with you 6 set soalan yang teacher nak discuss today, right? SBP 2018 kertas 2 okay, so kita try to cover all the question. Okay, so nanti next week kalau rezekikan panjang umur, okay, teacher nanti akan share earlier sets of question, then you can try out, okay, and then you can return your answer dan cikgu boleh check and kita semak sama-sama, okay. Alright, so hoping everybody dah take your breakfast, at least a light breakfast untuk you all stay tune sampai nanti almost dekat 12:45, okay, plus minus, right. So boleh cikgu mula kelas. Jadi hoping you have already signed up your attendance okay, so let's start. Teacher would like to share my screen. Kalau you all nampak, tolong inform me. Kalau tak nampak pun inform juga, okay. Okay, so you all boleh refer to your question that given class, right? That question that you give that teacher already shared, right? Okay, so there are 5 subjective question part A and 4 essay question part B. Alright, so hoping by in these 2 hours kita boleh go through all the question, okay, with the aid of mark scheme. Alright, so teacher put side by side supaya kita boleh you all boleh nampak kelas the way how requirement of the of the question perlukan, okay. Alright, so let's start class, right? Question 1 biasanya kalau soalan SPM, they will start with chapter form 4 kebiasaannya, and always start with soalan yang agak mudah dipanggil That is how jadual spesifikasi ujian design okay, how they design, okay, lembaga periksaan design the jadual spesifikasi ujian, okay, in order to students get along answering Okay, soalan 1 ni kalau you all refer, kalau you all recall, let's see, this is actually chapter 2 This is actually chapter 2. Okay, chapter 2 form 5. Okay, this is chapter 2 form 4. Right, so nampak macam complicated gambar dia, tapi actually it is a concept of a cell organization kelas cell organization. Kalau you still remember, okay, whatever, kalau form 1 pun akan belajar ni kelas Okay, from a cell it will form tissue. Okay, and then from tissue it will form an organ. Okay, and from the organ we have berapa sistem organ kelas? Okay, ingat bola sepak, ingat pasukan bola sepak, they have 11 players. So we have 11 system organ. Okay, so this question is actually about cell specialization under chapter 2, form 4, right? So nampak macam banyaknya complicatednya gambar ni, tapi actually question itu memang dah nampakkan kamu kelas given stage kamu nampak the first level is the cell. Okay, after cell it become tissue. Layer dia kelas Okay, the first level from cell it become tissue Okay, and then from tissue it become the third level that is organ. Okay, this is the first tissue, and then becomes an okay, and this is number 3 sebenarnya kelas Okay, so become organ Number 3 become organ, and our 100% okay, sensory organ yang Tuhan bagi kat kita kelas that cover our whole body, that is the skin. Right, kulit kita ini is a very priceless organ. Okay, 100% skin kita protected our body from invader ataupun daripada intruder, especially like microorganism. Okay, alright. So now let's see soalan tanya apa kelas So diagram shows the levels of cell organization. It's already mentioned in your dalam soalan kelas level of cell organization. Highlight kat kelas level of cell organization. So that's why teacher kamu keluarkan balik tadi your concept regarding this concept. Okay, your concept regarding this. Okay, so it's a cell. Okay, until it achieve system organ right. Okay, so now kita tengok apa soalan nak. Okay, compare to the mark scheme on your right. Right, so soalan minta you namakan, name the cell P, Q, and R. Obviously, you tengok cell P kelas Okay, obviously this is your basic concept. Nampak macam gambar mata ni. Actually, it's referring to
smooth muscle.
Smooth muscle, yes Cikgu ambil lagi satu pen. Okay, it's a smooth muscle. Okay, it's a smooth muscle. Okay, where you can see the what to say, this one is a nucleus, right? So this tissue P ni, when banyak-banyak cell P, it become a tissue, right? Okay, so what is a tissue? It's a group of cells, right? Okay, so becomes P, and this tissue P, bila banyak-banyak tissue P, with another tissue, it becomes an organ. Right, so this is organ kelas organ, tissue, cell, tissue, organ. Right, so this is actually tissue. Okay, so then you kalau nampak kat sini kelas so P is actually referring to smooth muscle tissue So we have berapa kelas muscle? Basically we have 3 types. Kalau dekat jantung, what we call muscle cell dekat jantung, cardiac. Am I right? Yes. Kalau dekat you punya bicep or tricep, ataupun your favorite food yang kau makan drumstick tu semua tu adalah sebenarnya skeletal muscle. Right? And apa yang kamu lihat kat sini ialah smooth muscle. Okay. Smooth muscle kelas So what is Q? Okay, obviously kamu boleh nampak Q Q yang kat sini ni. This is our important cell that carry oxygen in our blood. Okay, what is the name class? Okay, so sometimes you call it as RBC or always remember kelas bila cikgu sebut site kat ujung site bila sebut site is actually it refer to cell. Okay, so site is refer to cell erythrocyte, leukocyte, osteocyte. Okay, so osteocyte is a teacher pernah mention dulu is as osteocyte is a cell for cell for bone. Sebab tu ada penyakit osteoporosis. So in this case, kamu nak identify this tissue. This tissue. Okay. So cell Q, of course, is a red blood cell. Okay, red blood cell plus R. Okay, cell Q plus cell R, it becomes a very priceless tissue. Okay, which we call as a blood. Okay, blood tissue. Blood kita tu sebenarnya tissue kelas that contain many cell. Tetapi blood tissue ada 3 sel je iaitu erythrocyte, leukocyte and another one is apa kelas? Platelet. Ini kamu dah belajar dalam chapter 5 chapter 1 form 5, right? Okay, under transportation. Okay, so cell Q, cell R, it become tissue blood. Blood tissue, right? So then soalan tanya apa soalan tanya kelas? Okay, tissue Q and tissue R, even though they are tissue Q and tissue R kelas tissue Q and tissue R, even though they are in blood tissue, okay, but they have why they are different. Soalan tanya kelas kenapa? Okay, tissue Q tadi apa kelas? Tissue Q dua-dua blood cell. Okay, Q pun blood cell, R pun blood cell. Tetapi perbezaan antara dua ini, okay, Q is a red blood cell, R is white blood cell. Okay, then question ask you why tissue Q and tissue R are different. Okay, different tissue even though they can form a blood tissue. Right, so you all tengok kat sini the concept of how the hierarchy of a cell differentiate. Okay, teacher nak you faham konsep ni. Kalau you masih ingat konsep ni adalah konsep dalam growth. Chapter 4, form 5, you learn about growth di kelas Okay, so kalau you still remember, biasanya yang dalam form 5 tu kamu akan belajar yang ni tumbuhan. Okay, so this is kalau ni meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue is cell division. Okay, zone 1 and then zone 2. Okay, number 1 is cell division. This is root cap. Okay, number 2 zone for differentiation. Okay, elongation. 2 is elongation. Number 3 is differentiation. See So ni division, elongation and differentiation. Okay. So kalau you all tengok kat sini, Y, Q and R, they are different tissue even though after sebenarnya both of them akan menghasilkan blood tissue. Okay, so the answer kalau you tengok kat sini, how they want you to respond to this question kelas So dia nak kamu keluarkan term dipanggil differentiation. Differentiate. Okay, so why Q and R kena differentiate? Because differentiation nanti menyebabkan these two tissue have their different function and different structure. Right, so kalau you all masih ingat lagi kalau erythrocyte angkut oksigen. Okay, that's why kalau kita tengok kelas erythrocyte, okay, bila dia matured, dia tak ada apa lagi Akil? Erythrocyte bila matured? Erythrocyte bila matured dia tak ada? Dia tak ada apa dah?
Granule.
Tak ada nukleus. Okay, so erythrocyte dia tak ada nukleus tak ada nukleus. Why tak ada nukleus? Nak bagi space for HB. Okay, what is HB? It's a hemoglobin. You dah belajar chapter 7 form 4 hemoglobin to occupy the space in order for red blood cell efficient to transport the oxygen. That's why kata kat sini different function different function. Right, so erythrocyte function untuk angkut oksigen, okay? Whereas sel darah putih kita untuk time pandemic COVID ni, okay, sel darah putih kita always important, okay? Because they are the one yang akan fight for the virus, kelas So untuk sel darah putih kita, our white blood cell, okay, kalau you demam, okay, didapati your white blood cell mesti banyak. That's why kalau kamu tengok nowadays pandemic COVID ni, you have to keep on every day, everywhere. Masuk mana-mana pervis nak pergi MACD. Macam pagi tadi cikgu breakfast kat McD dengan my boy. Saya dah beberapa hari terkurung saja lagi ni bagi dapat sekejap tengok hijau cikgu Haranti kelas to heal your mata, okay, in order to make your eyes relax kamu mesti tengok nature. Itu salah satu healing healing treatment, tengoklah pokok, right? So dia akan memang menenangkan. Because the green wave, okay, gelombang hijau tu akan menyebabkan mata kamu your photoreceptor tu dia akan relax sikit. Okay? Kalau ada timun bolehlah Iman Iman letak tu. Iman ambil timun letak dekat mata Iman Iman ada Iman?
Ya.
Okay. Right, okay. So semua dalam Izrin ada, okay, Nazira dah ada. Kita ada berapa participants? Adam dah ada. Okay, welcome for those yang baru join. Alright, so back to our discussion just now. Boleh kelas Right, so this is what teacher mentioned kelas Why they are different? Because they need to perform different function. So bila nak perform different function, even though they are forming blood tissue, okay, but they have to have a different structure. Itu jawapannya kelas So far boleh ikut cikgu kelas? Okay, kalau tak faham just stop me and ask and kita discuss di kelas Okay, next. Apa level yang kamu dapat, apa level yang kita panggil untuk skin? Okay, kalau kamu tengok balik kepada gambar tadi ni, like teacher mention you dah ada konsep di kelas Konsep yang kamu belajar ialah cell becomes apa kelas? Cell become tissue become organ become system organ. We have 11 system organ Okay tak tu? Okay kelas? Okay Okay, so kalau kamu lihat kat sini soalan tanya apa level organisation of skin? Definitely bila sebut saja skin adalah one of the 5 sensory organ. Okay, kita ada 4 sensory organ yang Tuhan letak cantik dekat kepala kita. Okay, our 2 eyes, our 2 ears, okay, our priceless tongue yang menyebabkan kamu rasa kamu ada taste bud untuk rasa and paling penting ialah juga paling penting sekarang ni COVID-19 attack kita ialah our hidung okay, that able you to menghidup udara segar. So we have 4 sensory organ pada kepala and the whole body that is skin. So apa level dia ialah organ. Okay, so soalan tanya lagi explain your answer. Why you say so? Kenapa you kata skin tu organ? Okay, ini konsep kelas sebab skin, sebab dia organ. Level tadi dia mula pada sel. Okay, level tadi macam kelas mula pada sel, sel jadi tisu, tisu jadi organ. So your answer you akan sebut since because skin consists of a few or types of different tissue. So kamu tengok kat situ kelas kenapa dia underline? Kenapa Mak Skim underline? Mak Skim underline means kamu kena letak banyak jenis. Okay, banyak jenis ataupun different tissues baru dapat markah. Okay, a few or many types of tissue atau different tissues that form a skin. And setiap tissue tadi, they have different function. Okay, perform a specific own function. And example of their function. Okay, apa ability skin kita? Yes, kamu berpeluh kelas Like teacher mention tadi pun, one of the sensory organ itu boleh ataupun as a accessory organ. Okay, like you are sweating. Right, jadi kat situ kamu boleh dapat 2 markah. Satu ialah kat mana kelas? Satu is you mention about what is P, level of P, and your explanation will give you another 2 marks. So it will go here for 3 marks. Okay, alright. So now teacher would like to minta next okay, cell P. Apa tadi cell P? Can I have Akil to give his opportunity? What is P? Okay, kenapa P ni? Okay, as a cell, biasanya kita akan ada complete all the organelles as a basic of cell, right? Tetapi in order for tissue P, okay, to function efficiently, dia tak ada mitochondria. Kenapa Tuhan tak bagi mitochondria ataupun no need mitochondria for tissue P? Okay, apa tissue P tadi kelas? What's the tissue P just now?
Muscle.
Okay, tissue P is smooth muscle cell. Okay, compare tu kalau kamu ambil cardiac muscle. Okay, kalau you put side by side, cardiac muscle akan a lot of mitochondria compared to tissue P. Bukan tak ada tapi lack right? So explain how this condition will affect the cell in tissue P are lacking in mitochondria. So dia nak kamu explain how the condition will affect the function of the erector muscle. Okay, ini adalah soalan application. Okay, you need to apply your understanding. If this erector muscle, okay, dia punya muscle tissue lack of mitochondria. Okay, boleh Akil bagi pandangan Akil? Macam mana nak jawab kat soalan ni?
It will decrease the energy production in the form of ATP.
Energy production will reduce. Ini idea Akil in the energy production is reduced and then reduce. 2 markah kelas So bila reduce, what happen to the erector muscle?
Erector muscle won't able to perform efficiently.
Okay, erector muscle does not able to perform efficiently. Okay, right. So itu secara konsep lah. Does not perform efficiently. Okay, itu jawapan smart boy Akil. So mari kita tengok compare to the given answers. Alright. Jawapan bagi kat situ, when there is lack of mitochondria, production of ATP will decrease. Okay, so Akil dapat 1 mark kat situ. Very good Akil Tahniah. Right, Akil get here 1 mark guna warna hijau lah pula. Biru lah okay. So Akil get 1 mark here. Right. Okay, then kita tengok pada the reason. So reason reason Akil bagi terlalu umum. Okay, okay, Akil bagi terlalu umum. Okay, Akil bagi tadi the erector muscle does not perform efficiently. Okay, sebaiknya Akil kena mention about the ability of the muscle to contract. Sebab you all dah belajar dalam chapter 2, form 5, okay, about the locomotion. Right, disebut saja muscle cell, okay, they able to contracts and relax antagonistically, right? So tissue R, okay, iaitu tissue R pula ni. Tissue, ni sebenarnya R kelas P tu tadi red blood cell, right? Okay, if I'm not mistaken, is P is kita tengok balik. P tadi, betul lah P. Yang ni sinilah soal jawapan lah Mak Ski minta sila label Betul tak kelas? Okay, so that means answer scheme kita kat sini silap label dia sepatutnya R. Am I right? Okay, kelas So, lack of mitochondria cause the production of ATP. Okay, this one Akil dapat 1 mark. Good. Okay, cuma dekat sini Akil even though you have mentioned that erector muscle don't perform efficiently, but the as excellent students, you can mention how does not efficiency to in term of what? Okay, actually in term of contract tadi. So the muscle cell, the tissue R, okay, tissue P tissue P, okay, atau erector muscle unable to contract. So bila unable to contract, okay, the hair unable to erected or raise up, atau rise, so hair bulu roma kita tak boleh nak tegak, itu masalahnya kalau erector kekurangan mitochondria. Okay, so next apa respon? Okay, soalan berikutnya ditanya apa kelas? Can I have Iman to read that question? Pelajar hebat Iman, can you do that question? Explain. Hello Iman. Hello. Hello. Anybody home? Iman. Iman toilet ke? Okay, Azian lah Azian, cuba bacakan soalan kedua Azian. Azian?
Yes,
Cikgu.
teacher.
Okay, cuba. What is next question ask you to try to answer about this question? Explain. Azian dia. Nampak tak soalan? Ataupun actually teacher dah hantar kat WhatsApp kamu tu juga Boleh buka tak? Azian, do you have any problem?
Teacher, I don't know how to answer.
Tak, cikgu mesti baca soalan bukan suruh
Baca
jawab
soalan ke? Okay, good.
baca soalan. Senang je kerja tu, baca soalan je Azian. Okay, explain.
Explain the response of the blood capillaries in the skin during a very hot day.
Kita dengar suara sweet kamu tu kawan kamu tu. Okay, dia punya eardrum. Adalah juga suara orang lain asyik suara cikgu je kan. Okay, sekurang-kurangnya ada gelombang bunyi lain lah yang datang yang vibrate your eardrum. Okay, again cikgu baca explain. Okay, explain. Explain apa kelas? Soalan tanya how, okay, ataupun macam mana kamu nak terangkan respond of the blood capillaries in your skin, okay, during a very hot day. Okay, kalau kamu bayangkan kelas bila hari panas saja, apa yang akan keluar? Kamu mesti berpeluh. You mesti sweat Azian, right? Okay, so why you sweat? Okay, actually kenapa sweating tu adalah sebenarnya our body respond yang normal, yang sihat Kalau you tak sweat, that means itu menunjukkan indikator you demam. Itu adalah satu Kalau air panas tu kamu tak sweat, something wrong lah tu That means your body system kat dalam tu shows you that kamu maybe demam Okay, so actually how to answer this class? Okay, as you all know, blood capillaries tadi kan cikgu sebut kalau you dah belajar chapter 1 form 5, okay, blood capillary kita ni ada its own muscle Okay, dia ada layer-layer, dalamnya ada muscle, right? Okay, ni ada lumen sel lumen yang dalamnya ada the blood, carry the blood space for blood flow, okay? So, when during hot day, okay, keadaan ialah panas So, blood capillary akan closer to the skin surface. Meaning, blood capillary kita akan expand. Okay, diameter dia akan expand kelas dia akan expand the diameter. Why? Because kenapa dia kena expand? Sebab okay, dia nak secrete ataupun nak release all the excess heat. Okay, so kalau during hot day, kamu ingat kelas during hot day, right? So blood capillary will get close to the skin surface. Why? Okay, why need to get close to the skin surface? This will allow more blood flows closer to skin surface and heat from the blood is released out to the environment. Right? More heat is lost by radiation. And why you are sweating class? Sweating tu is a mechanism of cooling process. Sebab kamu dah release all the heat. So macam kalau kamu biarkan lama-lama so Tuhan jadikan how to release, kamu sweat. So air peluh tadi akan absorb the heat right? Itu sebenarnya kebaikan peluh sebenarnya kalau untuk kamu cooling process in our body. Boleh Azian Pak kelas So that's how you answer this question. Okay, cuba Azian ulang balik macam mana nak jawab soalan ni. Now cikgu harap bila kita discuss, Azian dapat ada idea. Okay, kalau hari panas, apa respon blood capillary? Okay, first mesti apa Azian? Cuba besarkan sikit. Okay, can you see my slide? The slide? Okay,
Yes.
blood capillary will get closer to the
Skin surface.
yes, skin surface sebab itulah kalau kamu orang bila kamu ada orang puji, kalau orang putih tu, kalau kulit putih kamu nampak muka dia blushing merah tu. Because the capillaries get closer to the skin surface. Okay. And then why the diameter become besar tu kan, untuk apa? Tapi sebenarnya dia reject dan guna expand tu, tapi untuk kamu faham ya. Okay, it will allow more heat to release out of the environment. Okay, kelas so ataupun prosesnya radiation or conduction. That is another term yang kamu boleh gunakan lah. Right, so done question 1. Boleh kelas Okay, now kita move to question 2. Kalau boleh cikgu nak cuba habiskan lah di set so tak payah pending. Okay, next question 2 is actually chapter 3 form 4. Okay, this question shows you about cell division. Am I right class? Okay, so cell division ada 5 stages given. Right, so and then question tanya you identify stage S and stage T. Okay, dia bagi 5, dia dah bagi label, labeling stage is interface, prophase. Okay, kalau melihat kat sini kelas sequence interface, dia bagi kepada prophase bagi kepada S phase, and you all tengok behavior chromosome ni sangat jelas. Dia will be M phase, okay, metaphase, and then followed by lepas M dia pergi sekejap kelas cikgu dah tutup file robot tadi, sekejap cikgu buka balik. Okay, sambil tu you boleh tengok kelas your just now the question you cuba tengok. Okay, slowly teacher will get to you. Robot cikgu tak nak buka hari ni, tak apa. So cikgu cuba buka. Okay, so dia dah buka tu. Sekejap. Okay, so sementara tu you all tengok saja cikgu buka soalan cikgu, dia dah tertutup tadi. Okay, dia minta kamu namakan S and P, right? Kalau you tengok pada WhatsApp kelas question pun on WhatsApp, and you need to explain the function of spindle fiber during phase S. Alright, and then next, some of the spindle fiber disintegrate during early of stage T3. So what is the effect? What happened? Right, and then the diploid chromosome number in the plant cell given is 10. So dia minta kamu predict the number of chromosome. Okay, sekiranya one of the nuclei in one of the nuclei that form during telophase. Okay, and last kali is the tissue culture. Okay, kamu tengok situ dalam botol tu is a tissue culture kelas right? Experiment that conducted in our lab. Okay, so state the importance of the plant cloning, and apa lagi eksperimen yang boleh dibuat sebelum kita go for question 3. Okay, so it takes time juga so sementara tunggu robot cikgu ni functioning. So mari kita tengok dulu you all, cikgu share the mark scheme. You all try to refer to your question on your WhatsApp group class file that teacher have been share with you. Okay, so from the diagram given, what do you think S and T? So that teacher mentioned just now, when you observe the behavior of chromosome during S, so automatically you can observe S is metaphase. S is metaphase and T is anaphase. Dua phase ni senang nak ingat. Am I right? Arzik, boleh ikut cikgu Arzik? Hello. Arzik, boleh cikgu Cikgu rasa drawbot ni dia problem. So I think let me stop sekejap Dia keep on checking the license. So I think you better close sekejap. Syahidah? Okay, Syahidah? Woo.
Okay, teacher.
Alright, Alhamdulillah. Okay. Sekali kita cuba kelas Kalau tak nanti cikgu buka apa ni lah. Telegram pun pula Cuma Telegram nanti tak sure boleh OP. Sedih robot. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Come on baby. Kita pujuk je Sekali lagi. Kalau tak nak buka, cikgu akan kena buka notebook lagi satu lah. Right, so sementara tunggu this drawbot functioning. Okay. Right, so kita teruskan dengan discuss the question ni kelas ada the answer Okay, so you refer to question. So S is anaphase, metaphase, and T is anaphase. Okay, kelas So done with that. Okay, now apa pentingnya spindle fiber kelas Why spindle fiber is very important during metaphase? Right, so as you all know kelas chromosome akan align at the metaphase plate. Okay, am I right class? Okay, so bila metaphase this spindle fiber align at the chromosome align at the metaphase plate, dia mesti ada something to hold that structure. Okay, alhamdulillah dia dah keluar. Okay, so okay, back to our discussion sebab kalau soalan sebelah-sebelah boleh nampak kan, senang nak bincang. Okay, so kalau you tengok kat sini, metaphase tadi ialah they need spindle fiber to hold the chromosome, right? So that's why spindle fiber sangat penting. Okay, spindle fiber attached to the centromere. Kalau you all masih ingat lagi macam nak lukis, okay, so you have to draw. Okay, you have to draw So this is the centriole. So kamu akan lukis the spindle fiber attached to the centromere. Okay, so that's why kat sini spindle fiber are attached to the centromere of each chromosome during the chromosome align at the metaphase split. Sebab you all kena ingat kelas walaupun this is a plant cell, okay, the shape is regular, but it still need something to hold it, okay, to form during the metaphase during the arrangement, right? Okay, so next, so far boleh ikut cikgu Syida? Okay, spindle fiber done. Okay, next, some of spindle fiber disintegrate during early stage of T. So what is T we mentioned just now? T is anaphase. Nampak ke saya? See, this anaphase Okay, this cikgu bagi clue bila sebut saja spindle fiber tak boleh terhasil, automatically you akan ingat kepada tajuk mutation. Okay, keyword je adalah mutation kelas So mutation meaning change. The keyword is change. So what is the effect kalau tengok sini when the the spindle fiber disintegrate. Okay, disintegrate means tak terhasil Okay, tak terbentuk. So you must be able to explain your understanding what is the effect. Jadi ini menyebabkan apa kelas? It's a very important concept kelas So centromere cannot be broken or split, okay, or separate. So bila centromere tak boleh split or break, so sister chromatid tak akan dapat terpisah Okay, kamu tahu kat kelas so when this is metaphase, so bila anaphase, okay, bila anaphase the spindle fiber will contract and pull away the sister chromatid towards the opposite poles So when this spindle fiber disintegrate, so sister chromatid tak boleh pull apart to the opposite poles. Okay, dia tak separate and not cannot be pulled apart So apa akhirnya effect di kelas? So this will lead to apa yang terjadi kan bila sister chromatid tadi tak separate? So the daughter cell, okay, some of the daughter chromosome will not form at the opposite poles, okay, ataupun different number of chromosome moving to the poles. Meaning kat sini dah cukup sangat mutation kelas right? So one cell akan dapat extra, one cell akan dapat less. Yeah, that's the concept of if the spindle fiber disintegrate. Right? Disintegrate means apa kelas? Tak terhasil Okay. Next, given in question, tadi kelas predict. Okay, predict your answer for question C part 2 So the diploid chromosome number of the plant cell is 10. Okay, bila you sebut saja diploid kelas please faham the ploidy concept. Di means di means 2 sets. Okay, 2 sets of chromosome. Okay, that means 2 sets of chromosome. What is the meaning of sets chromosome? Okay, macam Liana, 1 set Liana dapat daripada her father Suhaili Encik Suhaili Betul Liana? Okay, ayah Liana Cik Suhaili, your mum Liana. Okay, itu masuk 2 set. Okay, Liana dapat daripada ayah 1 set, daripada mak 1 set. Itu diploid But in this case dia bagi 2 sets of chromosome which is 10. Okay, means 5 from male parents, okay, and 5 lagi daripada female parents. Okay, so based on the C part 1, meaning C part 1 tadi apa kelas? Spindle fiber tak terbentuk disintegrate. Okay, so predict the number of chromosome in one of the nuclei that form during telophase. Okay, cikgu nak tanya Adam lah. Adam faham tak soalan ni Adam? Adam boleh faham tak apa soalan ni nak Adam? Hello? Adam ada tak? Ada tak Akil?
Ada.
Akil, Adam ada tak? Hello? Mana pergi pelajar cikgu ni Hello. Adam ada tak Adam? Ada nampak tak?
Adam chat.
Ha? Hello Adam?
Dia chat. Dia tak boleh buka mikrofon.
Okay. Thank you Akil. Beritahu cikgu. Okay. Adam tak boleh. Okay. Then how about you? Dini? Cuba Dini bagi komen sikit tadi. Faham tak tadi soalan ni? 2n equal to 10. 2n equal to 10. So predict berapa number of chromosome in one of the nuclei that form during telophase. Faham tak soalan kelas? So that means kenapa dia 1 pun boleh, 2 pun boleh. Kenapa 1, 2, 3, i, san, se, u, liu, ci, pa, cio. Okay, se tak boleh 10 tak boleh. Okay, se, i, se, yang lain semua boleh kecuali 20 So that means 0 dengan 20 tak boleh. Okay, reject kelas 0 dengan 20 rejected. Okay, 0 dengan 20 rejected. Yang lain semua boleh Okay, so that means terhasil satu pun boleh, dua pun boleh. Because why kelas? Okay, mungkin satu saja yang masuk satu kelas. Okay, you all kena faham kelas contoh cikgu ambil whiteboard lah nak bagi kamu faham kat sini. Perlu tak cikgu jelaskan atau you all dah faham kelas kat situ? Dini, dah 40 dah. Baru 2 soalan ni. Dini, are you okay? Kalau tak ada permintaan, cikgu tak terangkan lah sebab kita baru 2 soalan ni dah 40. Cikgu target nak habiskan semua So kalau tak ada permintaan, cikgu terus kepada D part 1. Okay, D part 1 is actually application of mitosis in daily life. Okay, so given in question D, apa nampak tu kelas? Is a plant tissue, part of plant tissue. Okay, it can be daun, it can be batang, okay, in any part. But teacher nak you concentrate on the term that given itu callus. Okay, callus So apa itu callus kelas So you all kalau kat sini you all boleh tengok dalam our textbook. Okay, textbook form 4 under chapter 5 cell division. Ada satu term ini panggil callus Okay. Kalau sesiapa ada textbook, you may refer to page 91 Okay, 91 where it mention about the application of knowledge on mitosis in cloning. Okay, kat situ dia ada sebut kelas tissue culture. Okay, it's a callus. Okay, so cikgu bacakan. Callus is actually undifferentiated mass of tissue. Okay, so nanti cikgu cikgu ambilkan gambar dia supaya cikgu boleh share dengan kamu. Okay, our textbook. Sekejap where's the picture? Sekejap kelas teacher ambil gambar dan textbook biar you nampak. Apa itu callus? Okay, nampak tak kelas? Callus. Inilah textbook. Can you see my slide class? Callus. Okay,
Yes.
so plant cell divide by mitosis to form a callus. Okay, a callus What is a callus class? Callus is actually undifferentiated mass of tissue. Okay, sekumpulan tisu yang belum membeza ataupun undergo differentiation. So this callus, cells in the callus will develop into embryos and later into plantlets. Okay, so this is what actually the process of tissue culture yang kamu tengok kat sini kelas Tissue culture is the growth of tissue of living organism in a suitable and sterile culture medium. Kalau Adam ke Dini ataupun Iman Google je kamu akan nampak all sorts of plantlets contohnya kalau kat Ipoh tu mereka yang tanam pokok pisang di mana anak pisang itu sebenarnya adalah hasil daripada tissue culture. Okay, you all boleh Google tu banyak dalam dalam internet. Okay, so back to our discussion. Soalan tanya apa tadi kelas? Soalan tanya kat sini, describe the cell that form callus as shown in diagram 2.2. Okay, so the answer you sebut kelas cell able to describe that cell that form callus. So cell that form callus is actually cell or tissue or explant divides by mitosis. Okay, ataupun tadi cikgu dah ambil buku teks di kelas forming undifferentiated mass of cell or tissue. Okay, so mana cikgu dapat ayat forming undifferentiated mass of cells or tissue ini? This is actually from our textbook. Okay, so that is callus. Callus is actually referring to undifferentiated mass of cell or tissue where you extract that tissue from the plants, from the plants here, and it undergo divide by mitosis. You get me class Okay, next kita teruskan kepada so far so good. Okay, cikgu teruskan. What is the importance class? Teacher rasa kamu dah faham even in your subject English and also in bahasa Melayu, you sometimes ada isu tentang cloning pula. Plants cloning Okay, so apa pentingnya saintis juga explore this this process. Okay, so pertama sekali like teacher ada share tadi, okay, kalau you rajin kamu Google di Ipoh Perak dia memang ada satu ladang tanam pisang untuk ekspor. Okay, dan cara dia dapatkan anak pokok pisang adalah secara tissue culture. Okay, so why? Kenapa kita pentingkan plant cloning ni? Because kita nak dapat production yang kelas? Yang cepat. Okay, so we need short time short time at one time. Okay, so kalau kamu nak jadi export and import, okay, so kamu kena fikirkan the best action So large number, identical lagi dalam masa yang sama dalam masa yang pendek lagi. Okay, and then like teacher mention kelas kamu boleh produce whatever plants yang you desirable. Okay, desirable characteristic contohnya kalau kita tengok biasanya kita ekspor pisang jenis berangan di luar negara. Right? Jadi kalau untuk pengetahuan kamu kalau kita di Malaysia, we don't mind to eat pisang kalau yang ada black dotted. Kalau kita black dotted tu okey, tak ada masalah, tapi overseas they assume kalau tissue culture kelas Okay. So next tengok kepada soalan 3. Okay, eksperimen in other experiment callus and plantlets. Okay, tadi teacher ada tunjuk kelas balik kepada gambar tadi. Okay, tunjuk balik pada gambar tadi. Wait Okay, tadi teacher ada mention about apa tadi kelas? Where is the picture? Cikgu tunjukkan nanti kemudian kelas Okay, so teacher buka balik ni, Okay, so nanti kita tunjuk kemudian, right? So dalam eksperimen, another experiment, the callus and the plantlets are exposed to gamma ray. Okay, sebut saja gamma ray, ingat balik kepada chapter mutation. Okay, chapter mutation kelas So apa tentang chapter mutation? Gamma ray ni ialah mutagen. Okay, what means of mutagen? Mutagen is chemically or physically substance that cause mutation. Right, so the callus in the cut and put onto the growth medium, some plantlet grew at the end of the experiment. Ini proses kelas proses biasalah yang berlaku. Okay, but now you need to predict, ramalkan apa efek gamma tadi, gamma ray to the plantlets. Okay, so again kalau kamu tengok tadi kepada konsep yang atas tadi kelas about the spindle fiber dalam cell division, kali ini ialah mutation dalam plantlets. So you all tengok kat sini how you going to answer this question. Okay, so you mentioned that gamma ray tadi adalah apa kelas? Will change the gene. Okay, the gamma ray, the plantlet that exposed to gamma ray will change the gene sequence or the DNA that control the cell division or damage. Okay, ataupun nak senang nak sebut saja gene mutation. So when gene mutation occur, okay, the cell will undergo mitosis as usual, tetapi yang uncontrolled mitosis. Okay, macam badan kita kelas when our body cell undergo uncontrolled meiosis, so it becomes abnormal or we call it a cancer. Okay, so forming abnormal callus or abnormal plantlet or abnormal plants. Okay, so is it okay class for question 2?
Yes.
Cikgu balik pada kelas kita. Okay, Arzik? Okay? Right, good. Arzik Bakir? Kalau Bakir soalan sekarang ni? Okay, next. Soalan 3 ini ialah about apa kelas? Question 3 is about chapter kelas. Question 3 is about chapter 8. Iaitu dynamic ecosystem. Right, so di bawah dynamic ecosystem, you learn about the concept of interaction among living organism. Okay, so epiphyte. Okay, epiphyte ni kalau siapa yang suka tanam pokok kalau beli epiphyte ni mahal juga ni epiphyte. Okay, pokok tanduk rusa contohnya yang duduk di atas batang tumbuhan Okay, for those yang suka kepada landscape architect landscape outside, okay, epiphyte ni mahal kalau tengok dijual, okay? Right? Okay, and then kamu tengok sini ada 3 diagram that given di kelas So di bawah chapter 8, okay, dynamic ecosystem, there are a few interaction yang you need to understand. Okay, so bila cikgu sebut saja antara kalau you all tengok kat sini kelas given in the question X, Y and Z. Okay. So if teacher mention kat sini Okay, kalau teacher mention Okay, kalau teacher mention commensalism, mutualism, parasitism, okay, symbiosis and also saprotism. Okay, itu adalah all the terms all the mechanism yang you kena tahu dalam our syllabus. Okay, so bila cikgu sebut commensalism, okay, mutualism, parasitism, saprotism, okay, so you all kena get familiar with that term, okay, sebab bila cikgu sebut ini ada dalam kita our notes siapa ada textbook is on page 178, okay, so dia minta kamu identify interaction of X class. So X is between root of ligum plants, okay, pokok, interaction pertama ialah pokok dengan bakteria. Okey, pokok dengan bakteria, pokok ke kacang akar pokok ke kacang, okey, atau akar pokok legum dengan bakteria yang hidup dalam nodul. Okey, rhizobium ni adalah bakteria yang hidup dalam nodul kacang and actually this interaction relate dengan nitrogen cycle. Okay, are you familiar with this nitrogen cycle? Okay, right. So X is mutualism. Tadi saya sebut kelas So mutualism ini di bawah konsep relationship between two species which both get benefit. Okay, so this mutualism X is mutualism. Ya, dia sama macam suami dan isteri kelas Suami dan isteri the best relationship is mutualism. Dua-dua dapat faedah. Betul tak Aki? Setuju dengan cikgu? Dua-dua dapat faedah betul lah ansur, okay, give and take, right? Understanding each other, baru harmoni. Setuju tak Cik Aki dengan cikgu?
100%.
Oh, alhamdulillah. Terima kasih Aki itulah sebab manusia kita melibatkan emosi Okay, emosi sangat subjektif. Okay, so like what Akil agree dengan teacher 100%, teacher pun sama Akil right, mutualism is the best interaction lah. Kalau kamu nak stay harmoni dalam sesuatu rumah tangga, okay? Alright, then why? Okay, why tadi apa kelas? Like teacher mention, epiphyte dengan tree. Bila sebut interaction dia mesti melibatkan more than one. Dia tak boleh seorang lah. Kalau seorang interaction, tu orang kata gila tu kan. Cakap seorang kan. Interaction mesti libatkan at least two. Okay, so dalam Y ini ada dua, epiphyte and pokok. Okay, plants, tree host and epiphyte. Okay, and it was called as a commensalism. Okay, commensalism interaction macam mana? Siapa yang dapat untung? Host yang dapat untung ke epiphyte yang dapat untung? Dalam commensalism ini, host ni kiranya baiklah kelas Okay, kalau kamu suka tengok cerita alah ikan tu. Dory. Satu lagi Dory.
Finding Nemo.
Nemo, yes. Apa kaitan Nemo dengan commensalism?
Dia dekat coral.
Yes, clownfish. Okay, clownfish akan selalu hidupnya together dengan sea anemones. Okay, so siapa yang akan dapat untung? Nemo ke ada sea anemones?
Nemo.
Yes, Nemo yang dapat untung commensalism Tapi sea animals itu they have its own tentacles which is very poisonous. So in order to protect to dapatkan protection Nemo duduk dekat dengan sea anemones, right? Itu salah satu contoh yang popular juga Okay, that example given in our textbook. You boleh tengok kelas the clownfish. Okay, Nemo tu nama dia tapi sebenarnya kalau general terms is a clownfish Okay, kalau commensalism ni kalau selain daripada epiphyte and tree host, okay, dalam textbook kita dia bagi clownfish, yang dapat untung benefitnya pada clownfish, right? And satu lagi species that is sea anemones, okay. Macam ni je dia sea anemones So sea anemones as a host in return tak dapat apa-apa tapi tak harmful pun juga. Right? So that is what teacher nak you understand Okay, next how interaction dalam Y. Okay, explain the interaction between rhizobium dengan legum tree. Okay, so like we have discussed just now, X is mutualism. Okay, Bakir X is mutualism Bakir. So mutualism means both rhizobium and legume dapat dua-dua benefit like what Akil sebut 100% correct. Right? Kena dua-dua bermanfaat. Baru boleh harmoni So apa yang legume provide kelas? Apa benefit yang legume bagi kepada rhizobium? Okay, legume akan bagi atau provide shelter. Ini tugas kamu Adam sebagai ketua keluarga. Okay, make sure ada a house. Kecil pun tak apa tapi at least a shelter to protect your your family, your kids. And then in return apa yang ada bacteria in return bacteria akan bagi kepada si legume ini. Okay, in return bacteria akan fix the nitrogens from the atmosphere and automatically pokok kacang tadi the legume tree dapat nitrates direct je. So that is the benefit. So nanti your wife akan serve you better Adam Okay, your kids akan healthy, okay? And you live happy ever after. Amin, right? Okay, so then next, sorry Adam tak boleh respon cikgu. Izrin ada tu Akil? Izrin ada tak dalam classroom kita?
Ada.
Ya, saya.
Okay, Izrin, okay Izrin?
Ya,
Ini Izrin diam je. Okay Izrin apa tadi yang paling best? Harmoni is commensalism ke mutualism? Hello. Izrin? It's a mutualism, mutual. The feeling is mutual. Itulah interaksi yang the best kalau sebaiknya untuk kamu develop, right? Okay, so next, apa benefitnya epiphyte by growing the tree trunk? Okay, tadi tree trunk dengan epiphyte dengan tree trunk is commensalism. Am I right, class? Okay, jadi apa benefit epiphyte dapat daripada host dia? Si apa ni? Host dia apa tadi, kelas? Apa host dia tadi? Host dia ialah tree trunk. Okay, apa benefit yang dapat? Okay, jadi dia akan dapat sufficient of sunlight. Okay, sunlight tu paling penting lah. Sunlight and air. Right, so bila dapat sunlight, as you all know, as a plant cell, okay, sunlight ni is a must, okay, to carry photosynthesis. Kalau tak ada sunlight, photosynthesis tak boleh berlaku, kelas, because the energy from the light, the sunlight, will break the water, lysis of water, okay, to generate electron in order for the chlorophyll to get excited, okay. So can make its own food ataupun carry photosynthesis. Okay, itu satu. Okay, yang keduanya ialah automatically, kalau you all tengok kelas, kenapa biasanya rumah penting? Okay, the first thing nanti kalau Akil plan, dah ada planning nanti, okay, in future, the first thing is you must have your own shelter, itu rumah. So tak kisahlah macam mana pun bentuk rumahnya, tapi as long as you ada shelter, right? So epiphyte tadi perlu shelter, so dia akan dapat shelter from the tree trunk. Jadi bila dapat shelter, ini akan menyebabkan dia akan reduce competition, right? Atau better support. Nah, ini adalah real life, how they survive. Okay, kelas, Okay, so then I think our last question for question 3 is about interspecies, Okay, intra or interspecies, okay. So tadi kamu dah belajar tentang interaction between biotic and their relationship of feeding. Okay, now teacher nak you nampak satu lagi interaction of biotic components related to competition. Okay, so the second part of question is actually given about interaction juga, tapi interaction yang ada competition pula, Right, so soalan bagi pokok jagung, okay, maize plant and paddy plants. Right, so maize plant and paddy plants grown in different planting grounds. Of course, kelas, Okay, paddy need tanah berlumpur, muddy soil. Kalau pokok jagung, dia perlukan tanah yang lagi keras. Okay, so soalan bagi kat sini kelas, a graph. Okay, a graph. Okay, diagram 3.3 shows the growth curve. Okay, the growth curve kamu dapat kat sini ada dua jenis growth curve is given kelas, maize plants yang warna purple cikgu draw ni, and satu lagi is a paddy plants warna merah, Okay, so ini kalau in different condition. Okay, in this is a different condition, So soalan tanya, explain why the height of paddy plants and maize plants are different. Okay, jadi kalau kamu tengok kat sini, apa agaknya yang kamu nak jawab untuk soal di kelas? Kenapa there is a difference between growth compared to the two species, maize and paddy? Okay, of course, but teacher sebut tadi kelas, you need to know the basic concept behind it. Okay, maize plants, kalau kamu tengok kat sini, okay, kenapa dia akan lebih cepat grow? Because apa kelas? They have different genes that control their growth. Okay, so you all tengok cara jawapan disusun untuk support your answer. Why? Because the rate of growth maize is higher atau more than paddy plants. Okay, atau the maize plant grow faster. Okay, kelas ini soalan perbezaan, so you must mention about the comparison between the two growth pattern. Okay, ataupun maize plant and paddy plants have different genes or DNA that control the growth. Okay, so kamu support your jawapan pertama tadi. That's why maize plant akan have larger leaf. Okay, bila dia cepat, satu lagi perbezaan yang ketara antara maize plant dengan paddy plant Okay, you all pun dah tengok tadi gambar kat sini So the type of leaf between the two species. Okay, so obviously kamu tengok kat sini the maize plant have broader or larger leaf. Okay, so broader or larger leaf kat sini So cikgu bagi tunjuk. Okay, a broader and larger leaf to absorb the sunlight. Okay, that's why the photosynthesis rate is higher compared to the maize, which is more compared to the shape of the paddy plants, which is smaller. Okay, itu satu. Okay, satu lagi kalau kita tengok kat sini in term of roots. Okay, perbezaan pertama in term of leaf, perbezaan kedua in term of apa kelas? Is in term of roots. Okay, the maize plant have more or longer roots to absorb water or minerals. Okay, so itu perbezaan yang kamu boleh lihat menyebabkan dua ini menghasilkan different pattern growth. Okay, different pattern growth as shown in the in the graph below. Okay, kelas pattern growth in term of height against time. Bila sebut growth kelas mesti ada parameter So this is actually parameter against masa. Right, so done with that. Okay, ada soalan tak setakat ni boleh ikut cikgu? Ada soalan? Back to our class. Terima kasih Akil and Bakir. Arzik. Teman cikgu kat sini. Ifan, do you have anything to ask? Ada siapa yang cikgu tengok ada yang hantar chat kat cikgu ni? Ada cikgu. Oh, saya tak dapat buka mic. Alright. Okay, sorry Adam Okay, so kalau you all tak dapat apa-apa, you all boleh hantar chat kat situ Cikgu boleh nanti tengok your whatever your problem Arzik, okay? Okay, cikgu minum air sekejap boleh? Cikgu minum air sekejap Okay, so kita sambung. Okay, so far kita dah cover 3 question kan. Sikit lagi question 3 tu ialah about form 4. Lepas ni kan kita masuk pada soalan form 5 pula Okay. And soalan form 5 ni kamu biasanya mungkin jarang lah buat Kamu kadang-kadang tak suka buat ni. Ni ialah apa tu? Response gerak balas dalam tumbuhan Response in plants. Okay. Okay, so next we proceed to last kali kelas Okay. So sekarang ini katalah cikgu tanam pokok jagung dengan pokok padi on the same split. Okay, given the question, the maize plant, the paddy plant are grown alternate in a same planting ground. Okay, with limited space and limited supply of nutrients and water. Okay. So tadi kelas soalan antara apa tadi? Yang atas tadi ialah kalau you all ingat tengok textbook, okay, commensalism, mutualism, tadi semua ialah interaction between biotic components, relationship to feeding. Apa yang kita tengok sekarang ini ialah soalan untuk interaction between biotic components in relationship to competition. Okay, so now these two species, okay, planting on the same planting ground ataupun planting space. So so apa yang kau nampak kelas Of course kat sini akan berlaku competition. Okay, akan berlaku competition. Definitely you all pun common sense dah tahu. Right, so now pokok jagung and pokok paddy plants and maize plants, they are from different species. So bila different species, the term we call it inter kelas This is inter. Inter means apa kelas? Competition between different species. Dalam textbook kita pun ada sebut Okay, competitive between individuals of different species we call it interspecies. Okay, ulang sekali lagi. Competition between individual of different species is called interspecies. Interspecific competition. Okay, and kalau same species is a intra-specific competition. Alright, so intra-specific competition and inter-specific. So between maize and paddy plants is a inter-specific competition. Okay, inter-specific competition. Okay, inter-specific competition. Inter means different species. Right, so a question asks you to explain the rate of growth. Right, after a few months when you left your playground, kau biarkan je, then you come back. Agak-agak kamu, what will happen to your both plants? Which one will better survive? Okay, so agak-agak kamu, anyone nak guess? Agak kamu mana akan lebih survive? Irfan rasa mana lebih survive Irfan? Irfan, boleh buka mic tak? Ifan boleh buka mic tak, Akil?
Saya rasa mic dia rosak juga.
Okay, alright. So tak apa, so Akil tolong jawabkan untuk Irfan. Cuba tengok tu. So what will happen? Agak-agak siapa yang akan menang, Akil?
Maize.
Yes, of course maize. Okay, kenapa maize? Okay, very good Congratulations, smart boy. Okay, so why maize? Tadi kita dah bagi reason dah kelas While even though, okay, tengok pada comparison of the graph even though you tanam pokok jagung dengan pokok paddy field ni in different place, okay, when you measure, okay, measure the height of the maize, compare height of the paddy, okay, it shows a very huge difference. Kelas besar. Kenapa tadi kita bagi reason? Sebab pokok jagung they have greater ataupun size of daunnya lagi besar. Okay, so daunnya lebih besar, larger or broader, and like teacher mentioned tadi, akar dia lebih baik Okay, more and longer roots. So dengan ada this extra characteristic dalam competition, yang pasti menang of course the maize because maize akan dapat akan lebih cekap untuk absorb all the nutrients compared to the paddy So inter-specific competition occur. Tadi like teacher mentioned just now, could you mention in class Okay, so what explain the rate of growth. So kamu akan dapati yang berlaku ialah inter-specific competition, 1 mark. Okay, ataupun paddy will compete each other with the maize plants for the limited space and also the limited supply of nutrients and water. So what will happen, class? The paddy plants obtain less space, okay, and less water and all the abiotic components. So toward the end, yang akan mati ialah plants. Okay, so dalam hal ini yang kalah dalam competition ini adalah paddy compared to the compared to the maize. Itu adalah konsep asas dalam kehidupan ni kelas even though in our real life pun there is a competition, tapi cikgu harap it's a good competition. Okay, whatever it is in competition, kalau you nak compete, okay, it's a positive competition. Okay, alhamdulillah we have dah go through 3 questions so far So now we get next to question 4. Okay, question 4 ni regarding your syllabus on chapter 3 form 5. Okay, about gerak balas kelas So kejap cikgu ambil buku teks. Okay, your textbook on form 5. Okay, so we are observing the response that shows by plants. Okay, kalau pun tengok sini kelas shows by plants, and these are how scientists design a few experiment, right, to study the response of plants, okay, in terms of their factors. Okay, so kalau kamu tengok tropism nama okay, kalau dalam dalam syllabus kita, right, it is 3.6 or what we call as a plant hormones. Okay, so kita belajar tentang konsep apa ni, tropism. Okay, we learn about concept tropism. Betul kan Akin? So how many tropism yang kamu dah tahu kelas? How many tropism yang kamu dah tahu? Akin, ada berapa tropism yang kamu dah tahu?
2.
Okay, kalau air? Kalau air kita panggil apa? Ingat lagi tak ni silibus kita di bawah tajuk apa ni? Plant hormones. Okey, kalau cahaya? Kalau cahaya Akin? Asyik Aki je kan? Tak apa, Aki jawab hari ni, kejadikan cuba tengok Iman tolong. Okey, kalau cahaya Akin?
Phototropism.
Yes, phototropism. So that means kalau melibatkan light is a photo. Okay, phototropism. Okay, Iman, kalau daya tarikan graviti, Iman?
Geotropism.
Yes, geo. Okay, ya 2. Okay, next kita ada cahaya. Okay, sunlight. Kita ada apa tu tadi? Gravity, and satu lagi kita ada air. Okay, geo. Positif geo, negatif geo. Air tak ada.
Hydrotropism. Hydro, teacher.
Yes, hydro lah. Kalau cuba cek dalam kita punya textbook ni. Contoh dia bagi. Okay, tapi dia bagi 2 je. Geo and ni je lah. Okay, so we stick on that line. Okay, so kat sini geo and photo kita study kelas daya tarikan graviti. Okay, so next. So based on diagram that given ni kelas day 1, day 5. Hari pertama kamu lihat apa ni in the question given. Okay, dia minta kamu observe kelas right, so plantlet P is placed in the box, and then dia letak dalam kotak, and then dia expose one side cahaya. Okay, and then after 5 days kamu dapati dia this shoot, this shoot akan bend towards the light. Okay, kalau plantlet Q, dia letakkan horizontal macam ni, right? And then after that, what happen after 5 days? You akan dapati different response for shoot and root. Okay, so for shoot dia akan respond upwards, and for root dia akan respond downwards. Okay, so daripada observation ini dia minta you identify apa dia respond that shows by the two plants, okay, the P and the Q. So like teacher mentioned tadi, in our syllabus you need to know two respond yang di highlight kat kelas So bila cahaya is a phototropism. Okay, phototropism kalau tak positif tak apa, okay. And kalau kalau daya tarikan graviti is geotropism lah Iman cakap tadi. Right, so then you need to explain the growth response of the P. Okay, shoot of the P. So balik kepada soalan gambar raja. Okay, kita lihat tadi kelas P after 5 days kamu dapati shoot dia akan bend to the bend towards the light. Okay, it will bend towards the light. Okay, so macam mana kita nak explain the growth response? So from the given diagram. Okay, kat sini dalam kotak ni, kat sini je this angle je kita buat, kita tebuk a hole untuk membolehkan sunlight penetrate. Jadi kamu akan dapati the shoot will bend towards the light. Okay, reject move kelas move tak boleh sebab pucuk tak bergerak kita tak boleh move. So the best word is the best term is bend. Okay, bend towards light. Right? So why? Okay, the reason behind it, class, actually there is one hormone that known as auxin. Okay, so kalau kat sini kelas, auxin akan berkumpul kat mana kelas? Dia akan berkumpul. Okay, auxin ini tak suka cahaya. Cuba ulang sekali lagi. Okay, auxin is a hormone, a growth hormone. Okay, tak suka kepada kematan cahaya yang tinggi. So when there is a lot of light, so dia akan accumulate dekat sini. Okay, kalau cikgu boleh besarkan dia macam ni, dia akan accumulate. Okay, so kalau sini ada cahaya, right, so dia akan accumulate banyak kat sini. Dekat elongation area. Okay, so when auxin accumulate more that the region away from the light, okay, atau on the left, so ini ialah left, ini ialah right. Okay, so kalau kemudian away pun boleh juga, so banyak kat sini auxin, so auxin yang banyak tadi akan stimulate cell elongation. Okay, cikgu ulang sekali lagi, stimulate, okay, stimulate atau promote cell angulation ataupun promote mitosis. Okay, of course lah bila sebut je elongation melibatkan mitosis proses. Jadi what happen to this side class, what happen to this left side? Okay, you akan nampati this side, okay, that more concentration of auxin will elongate more, okay, ataupun increase the number of cell at that region compared to the this part, compared to this part. So that is how you explain your answer. Okay, so boleh cikgu minta Iman ulang balik, Iman, how you explain the growth response at the shoot of plantlet P?
Baca yang dekat slide ni ke?
Ya betul. Just to
Okay. First, the shoot grows towards light, and then auxin accumulated more at the region away from the light on the left side of shoot, and then auxin stimulates and promotes cell elongation. Then more cell elongation increases the number of cells at the region away from the light than the region facing the
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Excellent student Iman. Okay. So we have done explain about the response that shows for plantlet P, why the shoot bend towards the light. Okay. Bila kamu letak this shoot atau this plantlet dalam kotak and kamu tebuk lubang one part je. Alright. So now next question asks you to explain about plantlet Q pula. The effect of auxin on the root of plantlet Q. Okay, where is the plantlet Q? Is the plantlet P? Okay, the plantlet Q. Okay, so untuk Q, you kena explain two parts. Okay, on the root and on the shoot. Kenapa kelas? Because these two parts shows different response. Okay, so again, like what we discuss just now, okay, the idea of plant P, so plant Q pula, kita tengok shoot dulu. Okay, kalau you letak kat sini, shoot, right, and then tadi, kalau perhati, kenapa kita letak slanting macam ni kelas? So, kita nak tengok how the response goes. Okay, so obviously kamu akan dapati the shoot will, apa kelas, kita tengok sini, the shoot will move upwards. Okay, the shoot will move upwards and the root will move downwards. Okay, so what is the process behind it? Okay, so kita mulakan dengan shoot dulu. So diatritic activity macam ni kelas. Okay, right. So auxin akan stimulate cell elongation on mitosis. Okay, so cell facing gravity. Jadi kalau kat sini kelas cell bahagian yang facing gravity at the lower side, okay, akan grow more Okay, because more oxin on the lower side. Jadi kalau tengok kat sini kelas, sini banyak oksin. Okay, banyak oksin because the dietary gravity more oxin. So when konsep kelas oksin tinggi. Okay, oksin cuba elok sikit Okay, kalau oksin tinggi, okay, growth pun tinggi on that part. Okay, itu konsep because so when there is oxin this is oxin. Okay, bila oxin tinggi at this part, okay, when oxin accumulate more oxin on the lower side of the shoot due to the gravity. So gravity ni gravity. Okay, so should grow away from gravity. Okay, that means dia akan tunjuk upwards. So dia akan grow away from the gravity because oxin akan stimulate elongation on this part. So dia akan away from the gravity. Okay, how about root pula So ni shoot. Okay, ini root Okay, so dekat root pula oksin akan kat mana dia akan accumulate kelas. Okay, the oxin akan slow the elongation when at high concentration, right? So cell that facing gravity lower side grow less because more oxin on the lower side of the shoot due gravity. Okay, so dia akan towards gravity. Jadi sama juga di spot dekat root banyak juga. Tapi antara shoot dengan root, kalau shoot okay, oksin banyak, dia akan menyebabkan elongation more kat sini Tapi untuk root, banyak oksin akan release ataupun lower down the ataupun less growth because more oxin in the lower side of the shoot due to gravity. Because banyak oksin tu akan inhibit the elongation. Okay, kalau dekat sini banyak oksin, okay, stimulate elongation banyak oksin stimulate. Okay, sini banyak oksin, sini banyak oksin tetapi inhibit. Itu perbezaan antara shoot dengan root. Okay, so that's why respon yang kamu tunjuk ialah root akan shows towards gravity atau bend downwards. Alright, boleh kelas so far? Cuba tengok je dalam classroom kita ni. Senyap je classroom kita. Hello? Anybody home? Akil, okay? Yo. Izrin. Liana ni tak ada Liana yang tak ini Izrin, Irfan, Nazira tak ada ni. Oh, Nazira ada. Nazira okey? Nazira? Azian ada, yang tak ada ini Sofia Tak ada ini Sofia. Alif pun tak ada. Oh, Ali Ashraf ada. Yang tak ada Alif Ashraf. Yang tak ada Alif Haikal. Cik udah confused. Yang tak ada siapa? Akil? Ashraf ada. Yang tak ada Alif Hakim. Ali Hakim, yes. Okey. Masih bertenaga kelas Masih energetik? Ada siapa nak buat apa ni? Nak nyanyi? Anyone? Boleh bertahan lagi Okey? Outside school lagi. Jangan terkandas dengan apa ni. Kalau mak kamu dah masak bau masakan di dapur itu Iman. Bertahan sekejap Alright. So balik kepada soalan kita. Okay, so done with that. About the response. Okay, now satu kaedah kelas Okay, there is a method Okay, kalau tengok kat sini apa metodnya kelas? Kenapa kat situ you nampak ada semburan oksin spray, okay, semburan oksin on the ovary. Okay, so oksin is widely used in the production of seedless fruit. Seedless fruit ni ialah buah yang tak ada biji, like grape, right? Okay. So Tuhan jadikan ni manusia ada akal. Okay, dengan akal yang bijak tadi, they discover that with the high auxin that spray on the on the ovary, okay, it will it will stop kelas Cuk pangkah kat situ. So apa yang akan stop kelas? It will stop penghasilan. Hello, it will stop apa kelas? Penghasilan biji. Okay, you all dah belajar during chapter 4. Right, chapter 4 bila bunga is reproductive organ. Right, so ovary is female reproductive organ for flower, for plants. So dalam ovary ada biji, ovule. Ovule akan develop menjadi seed. Ovary akan develop menjadi buah, tetapi buah tetap develop, tetapi biji tak ada, tak ada, no seed, There is no seed. So what is the phenomena that occur when you spray ovary with auxin? Okay, so have you heard that class? This term that known as parthenocarpy. Right, so this is a very popular term, parthenocarpy, parthenocarpy. Right, so kalau you all tengok kat sini, in our textbook, right, it is on page 114, It is 114. Kejap cikgu ambil gambar supaya you boleh nampak. Share content Okay, so you boleh tengok tadi mana foto kita. Alright, so kat sini dia mention apa kelas? Parthenocarpy. Okay, so what is a parthenocarpy class? Okay, this is another application of auxin in agriculture. Okay, so parthenocarpy is actually induction of fruit development without fertilization. Meaning the auxin that you spray akan stop the fertilization among male and female cell. Okay, right? The gamete cell, female gamete cell and male gamete cell, dan menyebabkan no seed is is formed. So jadi ovary akan develop menjadi buah tetapi tak ada biji. Okay, so this is done by treating the flowers that have not been pollinated with auxin. Right? Itulah parthenocarpy. So back to our question just now. Soalan tanya apa tadi kelas? Dia tanya apa nama proses that produce seedless fruit tadi? Okay, the process known as parthenocarpy. So how this process is done? Okay, you need to use auxin. Okay, you spray the you spray the plants with auxin. Okay, and which part of the plant? Kamu tak spray pada bukan pada daun bukan daun, batang, okay? Atau akar, kamu spray pada the reproductive structure, daripada reproductive organ iaitu flower, and we focus on the ovary. Sebab ovary lah akan develop to become buah, dan dalam ovary ada ovule. Kalau kamu tengok sini kelas, dalam ovary ada ovule. Kamu dah belajar dalam chapter 4 form 5. Okay, dalam ni ada ovule. Okay, so ovary akan develop to become fruit. Right, so ovule akan develop to become seeds. So this parthenocarpy, when you spray, when you spray this, this apa? Okay, when we spray using auxin, okay, you will stop the formation of seed kat sini. Right? So stimulate meiosis of the ovary stimulate mitosis at the ovary, so inhibit the mitosis of nucleus in the embryo sac ataupun development of embryo, so the fruit tissue develop but the seed does not develop. Okay, why? Because no fertilization of gamete. Lah teacher tunjuk daripada textbook kita tadi. Okay, kelas So that is parthenocapy. Okay, process produce seedless fruit. Okay, which is known as parthenocapy. Alright, so then done kelas chapter 4 form 5. Chapter 3 form 5. Okay, now we move to question 5, which is actually chapter 5 form 5. Okay, cikgu rasa kamu masih ingat lagi kelas we have discussed quite recent about this topic. Alright, so bila kamu nampak di gambar ini, teacher I'm very this is one of the priceless molecule of life that teacher nak you really appreciate. Okay, what is the molecule class? Is our DNA. Our DNA, right? Which carry our genetic information. Okay, Irfan Irfan all your your information Irfan, okay, safely keep in this structure that you are going to pass to your next generation through your sperm nanti. Right, so now let's kita discuss the diversity of ataupun the structure of DNA molecule that's shown in figure 5.1, diagram 5.1. So what this question asks you to identify kelas Okay, so soalan tanya apa yang kamu nampak daripada DNA molecule that given in diagram 5.1. So you nampak ada this DNA molecule composed by two polynucleotide chain ataupun two polynucleotide strands. Right? So join together to the base by hydrogen bond. So this is what you nampak kelas So adenine always form 2 hydrogen bond with thymine. Guanine always form 3 hydrogen bond with cytosine. Okay, so in our textbook also given dia ada bagi kat situ on the last page on our textbook about this guanine and adenine, pairing dia. Okay, pairing dia. Okay, so kalau nak ingat kelas what is the nitrogenous base for DNA? So DNA ingat selalu formula adalah GACT. Okay, GACT. Kalau RNA, okay, kami ingat is a GACHU. The difference is between T dengan U. The difference is between C dengan U, thymine and uracil. RNA tak ada thymine. Okay, instead of thymine dia ganti dengan uracil. Okay, so describe the structure of DNA. So ni first you kena kata you nampak dia ada polynucleotide, dua right, join together at the base of nucleotide by hydrogen bond and is anti-parallel. Yes, dia mesti 5' to 3', 5', 3'. Okay, another strand dia lah 3', 5'. Okay, so anti-parallel. Okay, it will show anti-parallel and forming double helix structure. Okay, so kalau nak tengok double helix structure, you all biasa kalau cikgu lukis macam ni kan, this is a double helix structure. Okay, so itu how you describe the structure of DNA molecule. Okay, as a genetic that carry genetic information. Okay, next, apa pentingnya DNA structure? Okay, in the production of enzyme. So as you all know, kita dah belajar last week. Kalau you masih ingat kelas about the formation of extracellular enzyme. Okay, so how to relate the DNA structure and important of production of enzyme. Okay, kalau you still remember last week kita dah discuss actually the genetic information, the genetic information to form the enzyme terletaknya pada DNA. Okay, so the sequence basis in the genetic code information, will be copied by RNA atau transcribed by RNA, then later it will translated, to the to produce amino acid in order to form the enzyme. Okay, boleh kan cuba ulang balik kelas pada DNA ni, DNA tu kalau kau masih ingat lagi last week kita dah discuss kelas Actually last week dalam sel ada nukleus, dalam nukleus tu ada kromosom. Kromosom tu ada DNA. So pada DNA ni ada genetic information So genetic information of what class? Genetic information of enzyme tadi. So ni ada information. So dia akan transcript to become RNA, and RNA akan pergi ke ribosome kat luar ni. Okay, and then dia akan produce extracellular protein yang kita dah buat last week atau enzyme. So again cikgu ulang sekali kelas. Okay, sequence of nitrogenous base form genetic coding atau dia ada information. Okay, cikgu ulang genetic information, ada information. Okay, Izrin. Okay, this will be copied by RNA, and then this RNA akan bawa kepada ribosome, and it will translate to become amino acid. Okay, so that is the importance of DNA that carry genetic information that able to express. Okay, soalan B adalah soalan inheritance. Adam. Okay, showing the hemophilia. Okay, hemophilia as you all know is a genetic disorder. Okay, which this allele actually can be found in sex chromosome X. Cuba silakan hemophilia is a genetic disorder yang boleh dijumpai pada sex chromosome X. Okay, sex chromosome X kelas So kalau you are a normal so that means Adam, Akil, Bakir, Ashraf semua normal. So if you carry normal allele, so your we always gunakan capital H gambarkan So ini kalau perempuan lah okay, kalau Akil okay, it will be H besar pada X. Okay, where this Akil inherit from his mom. Okay, and of course Akil inherit as a boy. Okay, as a handsome boy from his dad. Okay, ayah Akil ayah Akil Muhammad Akil Rashidi bin Akil nama ayah
Muhammad Syukri.
Oh, Encik Muhammad Syukri Alright. Okay, so Akil dapat Y pada ayah Akil Encik Muhammad Syukri, and your X is from your mum So if you normal, that means on your X chromosome is capital H. So now kita tengok kelas the given diagram. Okay, cuba Akil pula ceritakan kat cikgu. Cikgu dengar. Akil lagi kan? Silakan Akil. Kita panggil orang lain pula. Ashraf boleh Ashraf? Ashraf boleh tak? Mic okey tak Ashraf? Ashraf, mic Ashraf okey tak? Alif Ashraf. Assalamualaikum Ashraf. Hello? Dah habis dah nak rasa ke? Dini dah left tu. Siapa lagi yang tinggal dalam ni Okay, dah almost time kelas So, habiskan ni lah soalan 5 ni dan ni kita stop kelas Okay, kita ada tinggal lagi. Dini ada. Irfan, Bakhir, Iman, Izrin. Dini nak pergi somewhere kot Ada kudi kahwin ke? Okay lah. To save time, I think boleh kita tolong present untuk our class, okay?
Boleh.
Okay, go.
Saya kena cakap gamet semua.
Yelah sebab kalau tengok soalan, okay, genetic diagram shows what Akil? Ayah dia normal kan?
Ayah dia normal.
Right, okay. Father normal.
Gamet dia XH besar dan Y.
Okay, so
Untuk
that
mak
means
dia,
XH besar, Y good.
mak dia XH besar dan
Okay, ibu dia normal. Ibu dia sehat tetapi dia carrier. Am I right?
carrier. Yeah.
Okay, so Akil nak buat colour apa? So that means biru ni ialah pada ibu Ibu akan dapat XH besar dengan XH H kecil. Betul tak?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the genotype of the anak?
XH besar dan XH besar.
Okay, so seorang anak akan dapat satu H besar, X is besar daripada mak, satu lagi X is besar daripada ayah. Okay, so anak ini lelaki ke perempuan?
Perempuan.
Okay, perempuan tetapi normal.
Normal.
Betul? Yes, this is a girl. Okay, normal Okay, next.
XH besar daripada ayah dan XH kecil daripada
X besar pada ayah, X kecil pada ibu, betul?
Ya. Yeah.
Okay, so ayah akan bagi H besar pada anak ni. Ibu akan bagi H kecil pada ibu anak ni. Tapi still perempuan, betul? Okay, satu lagi diagram. Satu lagi.
XH kecil, XH besar daripada mak dan Y daripada ayah.
Okay, ayah akan bagi Y ayah bagi Y, mak akan bagi ni. So dapat anak lelaki. Okay, normal ke tak? Normal.
Oh ya.
Normal kan? Alright. So satu lagi anak lakinya ialah
XH kecil dan Y.
okay, SH kecil dan Y. Okay. So anak lelaki yang ini abnormal. Betul? So that is how it works how the how these patterns of inheritance that shows in this couple. Okay. So anak dia akan ada 50% ni kalau konsep genetik in term of gender 50% perempuan, 50% lelaki, tetapi each of yang normal 25% normal, 100% normal, 25 carrier, 25 anak lelaki normal, 25 lagi anak lelaki pengidap. Okay, so that's why soalan tanya itu kelas explain, soalan tanya apa kelas? Able to explain why both husband and wife are normal trait and do not suffer hemophilia? Because kenapa emak dan ayah ni do not suffer lah? Because ayah dan emak ada dominant allele, at least one. Okay, macam ayah confirm lah dia ada satu dominant allele walaupun dia Y, tapi allele hemophilia atau allele H itu adalah besar pada X Dominant allele express the trait, so that's why both of them are normal. Okay, and then complete the complete the table that given in class So dapat tadi kita dah buat. Okay, and then dia tanya able to state the probability of the first child of the couple is hemophilia. So probability dia adalah 25. Semua 25. Okay? Right. So this is a sex linked gene. Sex linked gene and explain the hemophilia class Explain the hemophilia Hemophilia son plans. Okay, the hemophilia son plan to get married, suggest the best wife to be so that all the children do not inherit hemophilic trait. So jadi kelas what is the best genotype kalau nak cari future wife? The best genotype for future wife is dua-dua dominant. Sebab tak boleh carrier. Sebab kalau carrier akan ada anak yang resesi akan ada anak pengidap kelas Okay, so the reason why mesti pilih isteri yang genotype dia homozygous dominant means both dominant Okay, allele dominant for both because it will produce 50% of recessive allele Okay, so probability of gamete that produced by human with genotype homozygous dominant is 100% carrying dominant gene. Jadi 100% anak dia akan normal. Okay, so kalau carrier akan ada anak yang boleh jadi pengidap. The chance to get hemophilic children is 50%. Compare to kalau dia tadi adalah homozygous dominant. Kalau heterozygous, the chances akan ada 50%. Alright class So I think it's almost 12:45. Okay, so nanti for essay question. Right, enzyme, okay, and apa tadi ni extracellular cell, okay, cell division, mutation, and then variation, okay, and the growth. This is actually the effect of intensity in the rate of photosynthesis, okay, and also how you evaluate, okay, evaluate the the food can, food processing, right? And also the sexual reproduction in plants, right? Semua nanti cikgu try untuk share the video, okay, while teacher explain. Okay, so kita balik pada classroom kita. Cikgu tak nak drag your times, okay. So, do you have any question last question class regarding our discussion today? Anyone yang still ada setia cikgu? Thank you very much for Adam, Alif, Ashraf, Akil Rashidi, Arzik, Azian, Bakhir, Iman, Irfan, Izrin and Nazira and Shahida for attending our class today. Okay, so hoping sharing cikgu hari ni at least dapat clarify a few things. Kalau sebelum ini kamu mungkin agak blur tapi dia makin sharpen okay, and kalau dah sharpen it becomes more better, okay, for your preparation. So Bakir, your last word, anything? Bakir tak nak on mic? Arzik, thank you Arzik dan Akil,
Tak ada apa-apa.
teman cikgu. Bakir tak ada apa-apa tanya?
Tak ada, clear.
Okay. Alright, so kalau tak ada apa-apa, Arzik, any last word?
Oh, tak ada.
Tak ada, tak cakap. Azian, Iman, Izrin, Shida, Nazira, Ashraf, okay, tak ada. Tak nak boleh on kamera. Tak say. Bila lah Iman nak on kamera Iman tengok Bakir and Akil. Alright, never mind. Hoping one day kamu akan ready and together with teacher in our class, right? So with that, cikgu habis selesaikan kelas kita hari ini dengan Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And if you request anything, just text teacher so that teacher akan try to cover lah whatever tajuk yang you nak. Okay class? That's all. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
happy makan happy lunch
Happy makan.
Enjoy your lunch. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, kalau panjang umur kita jumpa lagi. Okay, bye. Take care class. Okay.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye. Okay, thank you.